Welcome back. We have some more tweets that have come in. Adidotun says, for God's sake, the age limit for NYSC is 30. Then why can't they put that it at age 30 instead of 24 or 26? Adebayo says, if we insist on age limit in Nigeria, we have considered why developed countries, we have not considered why developed countries don't put age barrier on graduate employment. It's high time Nigeria came up with labor laws prohibiting labor discrimination of any kind based on sex, ethnicity, age, etc. That's from Dorian. Doyin Kasumu says, age limits are okay for entry levels, but should be discarded for higher level positions in line with best global practices. I think that's in line with what you said earlier. That fits his bill. Okay, I did not again says, most of these audit firms, okay, we read that. Yeah.
And now, I was going to mention you that the age limits anyway are for entry levels. Thank God somebody highlighted it.
No, but it even applies to some other levels.
No, mostly that is because they think you are still trainable.
Even some will also say you should not be less than.
What I was going to say is, I mean, if they are going to, if they are going to...
But since you said that, let's say this. Adedotun says, most of his audit firms take 26 and below. Access Bank takes 24. For God's sake, how can a student that went to a government school finish at 24?
When you say a student that went to a government school, the system, we have 6 years in secondary school. I mean, if you start primary school at 6, you finish at 12.
How many people start primary school at 6?
Well, that's another.
Primary school.
That's another question entirely.
So
that's another.
You're not limiting people from getting the job.
But like I said, most time the limits are for the entry level because most people feel, most organizations. But even at that, some of them have empirical evidence to back up their claims. Now, I'm talking of those organizations. You don't know the experiences they've had in the past. So it's we can't just isolate it. And even if people saying 24, 26, I don't think there's any sector that has put an age limit anywhere and said in this sector, if you are not below 26, don't apply. It's individual organizations.
Well, one thing, don't you think that some organizations do this for exploitative purpose? And before they know it, they find out that these young people are very adventurous. All they need is just a little bit of experience from where their first place of employment. And before you know it, they are off. Then tomorrow you are going back to the employment agency to say, unlike the matured minds. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, that's that's one angle to look at it from. But what most organizations even do now is some of them won't put the age limits because of discourse and public outcry. Now, if you find yourself on that board, you are at the interview panel, you are facing somebody. Okay, let's assume the age limit is 26 and you are 30. But you have the skill set, you have the experience, you have what they need. At that point, the age limit or whatever age you are should not be a disadvantage. Because really, the employer is not angry with the people that are 40. They just want the best for themselves.
The best for themselves.
Yes.
The younger
Yeah.
ones.
No. Hold on.
So, there's no time to hold on.
Okay.
Ichote Damisa says, unemployed, I vehemently say no to age limit. Competence and intellectual sagacity should rather be considered.
Those were the factors I mentioned earlier.
I agree, but like I said, the employers think that you can get that with
You're a human resource consultant,
yes.
so you are the one that tells them, that advises the employers on what to do.
No. You advise the employer, but the employer still takes the final decision. You tell him, hey, this guy is 30 years old. He will do better than the 24-year-old. You can only give in your expert's view. That's the much you can do. They are not under any obligation or, to follow what you are offering.
I think they are missing it in all ramifications. For example, at the risk of branding the younger people, dishonest people, what I have seen over time from experience, because I am out there, I have discovered that the tendency to steal, I'm not talking of billions that have become nothing to Nigerians now, most especially the politicians and those at the head of corporate, at the head of corporate organizations. Look, there are those who seek employment because they want to go to America. And once they go into a system, they start looking for where they can easily have access to money and not. It has advantages, just as it has its own disadvantages.
But even from a professional angle, you can't see that. You can't tell.
All right, gentlemen, we have to go. So let's see how we can tie this up. This person didn't say where he's writing, but that's Bash Buba 66. Please, if you're sending a mail, state exactly your name and where you're writing in from. This is a mail. It says, the issue of age is quite important in employment if performance is key to that organization.
Okay.
That's why performance in government organizations is near zero. And that's why performance in the military is far better, because progression to ranks is based on age for reasons of performance.
That's supporting me.
That's supporting him.
Why we are not discountenancing the need to employ young people in certain positions, for example, I am saying that an organization that wants value-added service to their corporate organization should not place emphasis on age limit when they are employing. I'm not saying they should go and bring an old cargo of 65, 70 to come and work in their organizations. For heaven's sake, experience about life itself is sufficient an advantage for an organization that want value-added service to its entity. That is what we are saying. We are not saying, look, graduate trainees here and there, fine. If you don't absorb them, how would they acquire the experience?
But sorry, when you are saying experience, and the 24-year-old and the 30-year-old are graduating at the same time, what experience is he bringing in?
Supposing that 30-year-old has been in employment, because I mentioned about structural unemployment the other time, right? When, for example, somebody has been on the job before he went to school, how can you compare him with somebody who is fresh from the school that does not even have the kind of experience?
Yeah, but at that time, it's also harder to change his mindset.
No, the intellectual acquisition will even be an added advantage to the person that is of a higher age.
But if it's that good, why go for a job? Why not create one? I mean, now you have experience and you have a qualification.
You know the structure of our economy. Is it easy to be on your own?
It's not easy. It's not hard.
It's not in all cases. It depends on your area. Like human resources, for example, all you need to do is to dust your books, consult them, and start writing proposals.
Okay, so why can't everybody dust their books if
I'm an engineer, I want to set up a workshop, and to even get the tools in relation to the job I want to do a loan will cost me about 20 million. Where am I supposed to get that money?
We have to go at this point. So in 10 seconds, you started first, so let's start with you. In 10 seconds,
yes,
your closing statement.
I believe that age should not be a barrier to employment, but rather capacity, capability, coupled with intellectual know-how, and the value you are going to add to that organization should be the determinant factors.
Okay, I'll conclude in a rather different way. I think graduates, people seeking jobs, they should reduce their emphasis on getting employed. I think you can think of something. The engineer can start fixing things in houses before he sets up his 20 million thing.
It has nothing to do with that. Wait, Mr. Franja from the university can also set up something.
Okay, all right.
Rather than looking for a job.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you for
Mr. Abume, Bestman Abume, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Chukwuagwe, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very
Peter
much.
Asolo says, where did we get this age limit nonsense? It does not exist abroad. Itote Damisa said, age limit is discriminatory and exploitative. It should be discouraged. Most young people are now too versatile. Age limit, this from Adidotun, should end now. Doreen says, limit on entry level appears to work against graduates from public universities with all the strikes, unlike private universities. Bola Joko says there shouldn't be age limit to employment, but experience in service counts as well. Obi Naimadi finally says, age limit is a fraud. Well, that's all we'll have to draw the curtains for tonight. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your evening. Till we come your way again same time next week. Have yourself a good night.